Once, in a kingdom shrouded by magic, a dark force stirred the winds of fate. King Edric's eldest son, Prince Alden, the heir to the throne, had been on his deathbed for several weeks. His face had turned pale, and it seemed as though life was slowly draining from his body. Whispers circulated in every corner of the palace that this illness was not natural, but the work of a dark sorcerer. King Edric had consulted the finest alchemists and healers from all over the kingdom. However, none could cure the prince. Suspecting that magic was at work, Lord Ewald was secretly summoned to the palace. "Your Majesty," he said, his voice clearly filled with apprehension and worry, "this illness is wrought by the hands of Malagar. The power of the magic grows stronger with each passing day." King Edric's eyes immediately narrowed when he heard the name of his old enemy, Malagar. Years ago, in response to the dark magic he had practiced, Malagar had been exiled by the kingdom. Now he had returned. But why? Lord Ewald continued, "Malagar's target is not only Prince Alden, but the kingdom itself. He even intends to kill you." The king nodded resolutely and declared, "We will stop Malagar as swiftly as possible and save Alden." Princess Evelyne, whose heart and soul were united with the man she loved, used to sneak into the palace every night just to see him. Alden's illness worsened with each passing day. Although she was the princess of an enemy kingdom, she had never been afraid to defy the taboos of forbidden love, for she was madly in love with Alden. One night, she finally found Alden in his room. The prince lay in his bed with his face yellowed. With tears streaming down her face, Evelyne took his hand and said, "I will not lose you, Alden. This magic will end. I would risk everything just to see you as you once were." Alden tried to smile, but the weakness in his body caused his vision to dim further. "But Evelyne, this magic is too powerful. Only Malagar can stop it." At that moment, a commotion was heard at the palace door. Lord Ewald and a few guards entered. With a worried tone, Ewald said, "We must find Malagar. Time is running out." According to legends, having more than 3 people enter the forest brings severe misfortune. A few days later, Alden, Evelyne, and Lord Ewald set out to find the place where the sorcerer was hiding. In the north of the kingdom, there was an ancient road leading deep into the forest. Legend had it that magic and dark forces reigned there. During their journey, strange events began to occur with every step they took. One night, deep in the forest, dark silhouettes watched them. As the trees around them rustled in the wind, the silence that reigned over the night slowly began to break. Anxiously, Evelyne placed her hand on the hilt of her sword, her hands trembling as she said, "They are watching us." Prince Alden lifted his head and scanned the dark corners of the forest. Determined, he declared, "We must continue. The real battle is beginning." As they advanced, the dark forest grew even deeper, but one morning something changed. Amidst the tall trees, a mysterious light appeared. According to legend, the place where Malagar resided was marked by this light. It was the only sign that would guide them to the sorcerer's lair. When they finally found Malagar, the dark sorcerer was waiting for them amid the ruins of an ancient temple. His eyes shone like a roaring fire, and his long black cloak billowed in the wind. "You have managed to enter, but your end will be death," Malagar intoned, his voice cold and grating. Swiftly, Evelyne drew her sword, her heart filled with both anger and courage. "Death will be your end, Malagar. You cannot enslave our kingdom." Malagar laughed and raised his hand. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew, propelling Evelyne backward. Summoning his last strength, Alden rose and stepped toward the sorcerer. "We will stop him," he shouted, engaging in battle against the dark force before him. Yet the sorcerer countered every move. As Alden fell to the ground, Lord Ewald reached into his pocket and produced an ancient silver dagger, hurling it toward Malagar. This dagger, a legendary weapon, was said to be capable of nullifying Malagar's magic. Seeing the dagger, the sorcerer gathered his dark powers in fear. But Evelyne made one final move. She seized the dagger and plunged it into Malagar's heart. Malagar screamed in agony as he began to vanish into dark mist. In the end, the magic ceased, and Malagar's body started to collapse. Prince Alden's illness began to subside. Gradually recovering, the prince returned to the palace with Evelyne. while Lord Ewald remained in the forest for a time to ensure that the magic had completely ended. However, it would be misleading to think that everything was over. For after Malagar's death, something else had awakened. In the depths of the ancient forests, the spirit of a sorcerer still waited for revenge. With Alden's recovery and the sorcerer's demise, the kingdom had found peace. Yet for Evelyne and Alden, it was not the end of everything. Their victory in the battle against the sorcerer would lead to the emergence of another dark force. Now, to protect both their kingdom and their love, they would have to prepare for an entirely new war.